Yo, it is Thursday, January 2nd, and you're kicking it with Kuya Kicks. Sorry I'm late, but I was watching Kev and DK on Unboxing Thursdays. And if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and check out Toying Around, one of Toronto's top toy tubers. And there was a couple people in the stream. We had Machu and J Shot that were there. They were also in chat and recently celebrated their 100th episode of Between Two Sentinels. So definitely congrats to Machu and J Shot for hitting that milestone. Today we're going to be unboxing, as you can see, the Marvel Legends Tracksuit Mafia, and this is from the Hawkeye show on Disney Plus. And what you'll notice is that I have two because this is what collectors would consider an army builder. So unlike the main hero and villains that you find kind of on shelves, these figures have more generic traits, casual clothes, suit bodies, army fatigues, mastheads, unmasked heads, and stuff like that. So they're pretty versatile. The other thing is that even though these are from Hawkeye, they're perfect thugs for characters like to fight against Spider-Man, Batman, or even just to have as extras in your toy photography. So not something new to collectors, but definitely new to the average person that picks up toys. So saying what's up to everybody here, and I think we can go ahead and crack them open. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the packaging. First and foremost, get these usual gloves for the review. Oh, getting away from me here, but I hope everyone's New Year was awesome. I know mine was. And we are going into 2025 strong. Really excited to start streaming again. We were doing some unboxing of some Transformers yesterday. We did the red Soundwave and compared that to the G1 Soundwave. And now we're taking a look at something different, going from Transformers to 12 scale collectibles. So these are also what you would consider a domestic figure, where it's manufactured here for the most part or designed here, like Hasbro figures, McFarlane and stuff like that, and more Western, I guess, characters where the imports are typically your SH Figuarts, your Figma, and other import brands and stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and take a look again at the packaging. They're both identical. So what we'll do is we'll just take a look at one box first, and then we will get into both of them together. So here is the box for the Tracksuit Mafia figure over here. So you have Tracksuit Mafia Disney Plus. You have the Marvel Hawkeye logo here. You have the Hawkeye logo on the very top of the box. Marvel Legends series. You have a view of what one of the heads looks like unmasked. Then you have some of the actors rather from the Disney Plus show. And then we take a look at the back, and you see more of the accessories and the other head sculpts that the figure comes with. And let's get into it, shall we? So there's a couple accessories that this one comes with, including, again, the two unmasked heads, the masked head, the Molotov cocktail, the baseball bat, the golf club, and the machete. So lots packed in. Your usual legal note that goes in the box for recycling. Figure and accessories here. We'll go ahead and do both, shall we? All right, so 3 sets of figures, accessories, and all right, here we go. So 2 of the exact same sets of the Tracksuit Mafia figure over here. So we'll go ahead and take out the figure first. I love these paper packaging, which are, I think they're being eliminated. And they've gone back to the window packages for sure, but I'm not sure how much paper they actually use now. But this is the figure out of the box, as you can see over here. And we'll take a look at everything that's inside. So first and foremost, it's this unmasked, kind of bald or short hair dude with the beard. Head sculpt looks, pretty generic. It does still have the pinned upper arms, but does have the pinless legs. And we'll go through the articulation a little bit later, but just kind of want to start with the figure itself. Let's get that out of the way. A couple other figures, or accessories rather, that it comes with. Lots of goodies with this dude. Come on, there you go. So in addition to the figure, you're also going to get this unmasked head as well, which I like to say kind of looks a little bit like Jon Snow, little Kit Harington kind of look, that flowing hair and the beard. Put that off to the side. You also get the masked head. So it's the ski mask. Pretty well sculpted. And then he has a bunch of weapons here. Oh, this head won't stay balanced. We have an aluminum bat. You have a driver, I believe. You have a crowbar. Again, probably not the best to show it on the black gloves, but yeah, you have this crowbar. You have this Molotov cocktail. And the machete. And in case you're wondering, the figure stands, see here, probably 6.25 inch in height. And at his thinnest, probably 2.25 inches wide. So lots of stuff with the figure, just easy enough to head swap. So you just pull this head off, take this one, pop it on. Now you have the Jon Snow look. And then finally the mast. More anonymous. And I like the way that it actually is angled down and a little sharper on the bottom because it fits nicely into the groove where the zipper and kind of the neck to kind of conceal that area too. So that's kind of cool. I like that feature on the head there. And they don't have interchangeable hands. They just have two different grippy hands to hold the different weapons. So we'll get into some posing later, but we'll go ahead and just get this guy's stock head back on. Right? And then we can get into the articulation. So from an articulation perspective, you have your standard ball joint to move around. Look down that far. Look up that high. You have your arms here that go up this high. No butterfly joints. But you do get a bicep swivel. You get a double jointed elbow. Again, still pinless though, so you could tell it's a little dated. You have the wrist articulation to swivel and tilt with the wrist. Bring that all back down. You have the ab crunch over here. Bend down that far. Go back very far. You actually have a waist swivel on the track jacket. Leg can kick up this high. That far back. Then you have your double jointed knee, bends that far. And then you also have a thigh swivel, that's right there. And then you have a little ankle pivot here, tilt forward and back. And the exact same that we have over here. So one thing that I want to talk about is, aside from the articulation, storage. So because they have so many different parts, one thing that I like to do is, use these photo containers, these acid-free photo containers, and you can get them. I usually get them at Michael's. They can buy them individually, but I buy the cases that have like 8 or so of them inside. And pretty much, you can store your figures, your accessories, and it'll fit most 6-inch figures. So this should go in no problem. So we'll go ahead and see how I store my stuff. So figure goes right in. Take your head sculpts. Take all these weapons here: the bat, the driver, crowbar, Molotov, and the machete, and there you go, a tray with your action figure and everything that it came with. So you don't need to have individual ones. I'm actually probably going to store these together just because they have all the same stuff. So I'll show you. There's the other machete and the other driver. And the other heads, the Molotov, the crowbar, the bat. Again, look at that. Everything fits in this one tray. So easy enough to just put away. You're not going to lose anything. And then you could either, stack these, or like I have a bunch of cases. So that's pretty much how I sort those out. But what we were talking about earlier was, army building. So, we still have this tray here, but we have one dude here. We have the second tracksuit Mafia guy there. We just talked about them. They're identical. Absolutely nothing different between the two. But once you take the head sculpt off and use one of the other ones, then you have, two different characters that are complementary to each other because they're in the same, outfit, same gang. Or as mentioned, you could just have them as extras. People are just kind of walking around in your toy photography in the background and stuff like that. But the purpose that I'll have for these is just to kind of have them in maybe some action poses in future. I know Machu and some of the others have done it before, of them fighting heroes and stuff. So the other cool thing, aside from that, is you can also get them not only in the unmasked heads, but you can actually toss masked heads back on. Same here. Just take this head, put that right on the ball peg. And like I said, see this, how it points down on the bottom of the head. I like that because this actually has a nice little cut where the zipper is. So when you put the new masthead on, it fits in this gap really well, to kind of conceal the neck and like really kind of give you that, thug kind of look. So, really cool. I think that's a nice little detail that they added there. But what we'll do, so now we have two thugs. We can go ahead and arm them with some stuff. So let's go ahead and we'll just take this aluminum bat, toss that into this guy's hand, and just have him kind of like brandishing it, ready to kick some ass. Like this. Come on. Something like that. The wrists aren't lining up for me today. Come on, you can do it, man. You get the picture. Kind of like brandishing the bat, getting ready to kick some butt. Then the other guy, we can go ahead and give him the Molotov, maybe. See if we could have him like in like a pitching pose. We'll use this more open kind of hand. I think it should hold on to it. Maybe not. Not a good grip there. I'll go ahead and just grab this hand, which still doesn't seem to hold it. That's a shame. We've been just doing it where it's too soft or wide. Anyways, we'll go with this, which doesn't make sense because you wouldn't be able to hold the flame. So maybe no Molotov. Let's go ahead with the machete. Toss the machete in his hand. And I could probably just find some other generic hands like closed fists or like gloved hands and stuff like that to switch with these guys as well to make them even more, generic when it comes down to the way that they're kind of holding their weapons here. But here, but there you go. Two of the exact same figures, but dressed up more or less different. Because the accessories and the anonymity of the masks, right? So these are pretty cool, and they're definitely going to go, with the standard 6-inch collection. But again, this is just a really quick look at these figures. I've been trying to get some B-roll so I can, cut into reels and do more short form content. So trying to be a little bit more methodical when it comes down to going live, because instead of just kind of recording it behind closed doors, may as well just record it, for my benefit, and just having it as a quick record with bloopers and just kind of a live reel. And then if anyone joins, then they're welcome to kind of provide that feedback. So definitely going to try and keep this up. But this is the Tracksuit Mafia, my army build. Again, look how quickly it stores in this tray, which I think is, super convenient. Like this thing is only what, 4.5, 4 3/4 wide and like 6.5 inches like tall, and holds pretty much everything. And I could just toss this in my bin and then just take it out for when I need to do the actual toy photography and pose things out. So again, these are photo cases that you can get at Michael's, and they sell them usually in cases of 16. So you can hold 16 figures individually like this, or you could buy, these separately and just kind of stack them if you want. But I found this, a pretty convenient solution, acid-free plastic. So, it's not damaging the figure. Sometimes, depending on if it's like an import figure, I might line it with bubble wrap just to give it a little bit more cushion. But for domestic figures like these ones here, I would say that it's, I think it's fine, that we could just toss them all together. And unless I'm wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments. But I think that, this works out as a decent storage solution for 6-inch figures. So if people are looking for something to stay a little bit more tidy and more structured than a regular Ziploc bag, then photo cases may be the next step for you. What else did we want to talk about here? Just a second. Yeah, I think I ran through the list. I wanted to just kind of do a really quick run of the figure, just strictly for B-roll, and maybe we can go across the figure a little bit more, one more time for the close-ups. So when we first took the figure out of the case, it was this kind of Walter White looking head over here, this dude with the beard, right? Took a look at all the articulation, all the details of the tracksuit. He has kind of like another zip up underneath in black, zipper lines here, just a little bit of gray paint that goes around the sides and actually runs all the way down to the foot. And looks like he's wearing like some type of like shell toe kind of chuck shoe, right? And then they're just the exact same figure, and you just swap out any of the three heads and you can have them posed up with your just as goons or and like street street level villains versus having, a Thanos or, a Joker or any of the main stuff. Like, always need henchmen, to kind of fill up those spots. So I'll go ahead and put this guy back here. This guy here. Toss all these things away. Storage. And that's all she wrote. So this will go back into my storage case. And then the goal is to, continue, unboxing more of my collection, just that's been sitting in the backlog. Some of the stuff I'm probably going to be listing as well for sale. So depending on what you're looking for, take a look at my channels to see what I'm posting either on Instagram or even on Facebook Marketplace. And we'll be going through a couple different things. We started off with Transformers. Then I jumped over into 12-inch domestic action figures. I think I'm gonna maybe show some import action figures, or might even jump to a different fandom. I know that there's different things that I have. So aside from Transformers, which we already covered, and Disney Plus, obviously Marvel has a pretty deep catalog of collectibles, and I have stuff from the MCU movies, Disney Plus, comic editions, and then I have a Spider Verse. Both the Sony Cinematic Universe, and then I also have the Sony Across the Spider Verse animated stuff. I have Fox Kids stuff from the '90s, and then Transformers goes all the way from G1 stuff to Beast Wars, and a whole bunch of stuff in between, including crossover collections with like the Ghostbusters. What do I have? Top Gun. I have Knight Rider. I have Jurassic Park, and a whole bunch of other types of stuff. So that's these types of things, and fandoms that I'm into that I want to be sharing with people in 2025, to get a little bit more specific into why am I into these collectible items and stuff like that, and the differences between import, domestic, and first party Transformers, third party Transformers, knockoffs, and all that other types of stuff. Because for the average collector, for sure, like they know what they're into and they've heard these terms before. But I know that I've always been asked, you know when people are buying gifts for their significant others or for their kids and stuff like that, like what's the difference between some of the figures that I see at Walmart, Toys R Us, GameStop, and stuff versus what I have in my collection. And I'm honest with them. Like I still shop at all those places, but then there are certain things that you can only get, through exclusives that are either overseas, and in the States, and also just like, understanding the different price points when you start with, 6-inch domestic figures, like, Marvel Legends and Classified and Black Label, like Hasbro stuff, McFarlane stuff. And then when you start to think about more of the highly articulated and upscale stuff. So, and then even the KOs. Some KOs are, equal or better than the original releases. And only now, I know DK and Kevin were talking about CT toys. And I have a bunch of those too. I have the 2099, I have the black suit, and a bunch of other ones, which are KOs of the SHF and KOs of Mafex, or yes. And they feel all right. But because I guess I've been in the Transformers collectible game for a really long time, and there's been a lot of, KOs there, third party, fourth party. I don't even know what that means. Like, is that like a KO of a third party? But anyways, I've been through this whole like KO kind of craze or aftermarket kind of craze when it comes down to Transformers. So it is very interesting to see a company like CT Toys, pumping out, um, you know, Brown Suit Wolverine, Agent Venom, and all these other figures. And who knows what they're gonna, be working on next. But again, that's a whole other market that, the average parent or significant other of a collector probably don't really know that much about. So I'm kind of taking down, like, taking it to a more, I don't know, like layman's kind of like version of what collecting is, and trying to explain it. Because even when I speak to my nephew, for example, like he's getting into collectibles, and I want him to understand, what the breadth of collecting kind of is. So just kind of sharing that journey, and that's going to be a lot again of what I do in 2025 moving forward. So if you're into Marvel stuff, if you're into Transformers stuff, if you're into video games, if you're into esports, if you're into the Spider Verse, if you're into Beast Wars, if you're into, I don't know, like any of those types of things, then be sure to tune in for future episodes. They'll likely be, trying to keep them short, maybe in this 30-minute kind of range. Um, just because my schedule is so crazy. And the other thing is, maybe getting a little bit more frequently, if possible. I know this sounds crazy, but doing this daily would be my goal, and just to kind of see how many episodes I can crush out throughout the year. And then the other thing I was thinking about is even doing some offline recordings, maybe for the days that emergencies come up or things just get crazy busy, and I can just kind of air new content, but just stuff that's been vaulted for a little bit. So definitely, thanks for tuning in. I hope you learned a little bit about how to store your figures. I hope you learned about um, you know the differences, or what an army build is, and looking at these tracksuit mafia figures. And I look forward to sharing more nuances of what collecting and gaming is like with you in future. But otherwise, yeah, please hit me up with a comment, with a like, a subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated. And then you can hit me up on Instagram. It's at Kuya Kicks, the exact same thing. So we will see you on the next one. Peace.